Our research is looking at the effect of circadian disruption on different cancers. And the reason we got interested in that is that there's increasing data and studies that show that light pollution at night tends to disrupt our circadian cycle. In addition, most of us spend our time inside buildings, indoors, and we don't realize it, but the light that we're exposed to is much dimmer than the light of the sun. So our rhythms are not properly aligned with the sun because of this. We don't get enough light during the day, and then at night, we spend all night looking at our cell phones or watching TV, and that tends to separate us from our normal cycle. So I thought it would be interesting to do a study to see if that has an effect on cancer and other diseases. In the past, most studies of circadian disruption have looked at shift workers because they have a big disruption in their daily cycle. And they have found associations with various cancers, also with cardiovascular events like heart attacks. But what we believe is that this is something that is also important in the general population. So we used a gigantic cancer registry in the United States called SEER, which the 11 SEER states, we were able to track 4 million cancer cases. And what we looked at was position in the time zone in the United States. And our hypothesis was that people in the East would have less cancer risk than people in the West. This is within each time zone. And the reason for that is that people in the East get up and the sun is rising. So imagine you're getting up for work at 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun is rising, and the sun is what entrains or resets your circadian rhythm every morning. People in the West, even though it's 8 o'clock, clock time is the same across the time zone, are getting up in the dark because the sun hasn't quite risen yet. So they don't have a chance to be exposed to the light. So what happens is their chronotype marches forward and becomes a little later. Now, chronotype is a word that your viewers may not be familiar with, but it just simply refers to whether we're a lark or an owl. Larks get up early and go to bed early. Owls get up late and go to bed late. So the larks tend to live in the East and the owls in the West. And the problem is that being an owl tends to be associated with a number of conditions. So we know that diabetes, obesity, other problems are associated with this. So we wanted to see if the rates of cancer also showed this. So we did a study of the top 20 cancers in the United States. And what we found, unexpectedly, was that all cancers showed an elevation, but the cancer with the largest was CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. In addition, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma overall showed elevated rates. That is, people living in the western regions of time zones had higher rates than people in the East, as we hypothesized. Your viewers might be interested in what we could do about it. And one thing is, I would not suggest they move from the west to the east, okay? There's no reason to move your residence. However, there are a few common sense measures which support general health, which I would recommend. The first one is get the full amount of sleep that you need. So we have also done studies in national surveys that show that if you get under 6 hours sleep, you fall off a cliff. And we see that people that get less than 6 hours sleep start to have all sorts of problems. The most common one is weight gain, and that causes metabolic alterations that can lead to diabetes. So, as you probably know, obesity is epidemic in the Western Hemisphere and in society in general. And so, if you get less than 6 hours sleep, it will contribute to weight gain and be a drag on your general health. So that's the first thing. The second thing is keep your bedroom dark at night. Turn the lights off. Sleep in complete darkness. Of course, if you need a night light so you don't stumble when you get out of bed, but in general, you should keep your bedroom as dark as possible. And I also recommend, if you're one of those people that whips out your cell phone at night, don't do that. Talk to your spouse instead. But if you have to do it, there are a lot of blue-green filters that you can apply to your phone. These are easily downloaded. Apple phones have them included, and it will screen out the blue-green light. And the blue-green light is very important because that's what signals your body that the sun is rising and that it's time to start your daytime program. So at night, you want to sleep. You don't want to signal your body, it's daytime, wake up, because that disrupts your rhythm and it contributes to the kinds of problems that we see.